So hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Miss Vaz. Thank you so much for coming back. Today's video is going to be me sharing my story about suffering with imposter syndrome. Now I know a lot of you are thinking, what is imposter syndrome and is it an actual diagnosis, and like V, are you just being dramatic here? Now I don't know if it's an actual diagnosis, but like I've diagnosed myself as having imposter syndrome, and a lot of students here at Oxford University have done the same thing. But I know that imposter syndrome is not a unique thing. It's not unique to Oxford or students. You can feel it when you're in the workplace, at home, anywhere. Like imposter syndrome is something that just takes over you, and it's the worst thing in the world, and I hate having it. Like I honestly hate feeling those feelings of imposter syndrome because it's like it just knocks your confidence. But yeah, let's get straight into the video and let's talk about it. Thank you so much for coming back. Please let's get this video to like 100 likes, 100 thumbs up. I would be grateful, and please click subscribe. I would love to try and hit 20k before my 21st birthday, which I know is a stretch, but like let's try. Love you so much, and bye. Imposter syndrome, I've got it on my laptop, that's what I'm reading from. Imposter syndrome is fraud syndrome, or the imposter experience, is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. You constantly doubt yourself, and you constantly feel like whatever you've achieved is not real and it's not yours, and that at any point someone's gonna just knock on the door and say, hey, that wasn't true. So if you win a Grammy, for instance, you'll always think they accidentally messed up the name, or they read out the wrong album. It wasn't supposed to be actually me who won the Grammy. So then you constantly be on edge, and when people say to you congratulations for your Grammy nomination, you say, well, you always have an excuse for why you won. Like you'll never just say thank you, I worked hard. You'll always be like, well actually it's probably because Beyonce featured on it, or it's only because it went viral. So if it hadn't gone viral, no one would have noticed it. Or you always have a, oh yeah, but it's because. You never just say thank you. Having imposter syndrome is probably the worst thing for your confidence in the world. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, lol, like V, you are confident, like what are you talking about? And I am confident like in myself, but a lot of things I doubt myself, and I blame that on imposter syndrome so badly. Like it stops you from doing so much. So anyway, let me tell you what imposter syndrome is for me. So when I arrived at Oxford, since I arrived at Oxford and up until this day, I constantly question my place here. Like I'll have days when I'm like, yeah, I belong here, I'm supposed to be here, like I got in here and I am that girl. Then there'll be days when I'm just like, yep, nope, they made a mistake. And I think because of my route into Oxford as well, it doesn't help. Like I always feel self-conscious, and it doesn't help when people say certain comments that just confirm what you already feared, you know? I studied classical archaeology and ancient history. It's not exactly your most popular subject, especially not with people of my kind of background. It's not like something that you just stumble upon and you're like, oh, I like this. Like, you know how you find math, science, history, those subjects that are just like common. This is quite niche, and you'd have to have had certain exposure to know about this, you know? So for me to be studying this subject in this kind of university with these people is the craziest thing. Every time I was in class and I didn't understand what was going on, that fear would come back. And how it feels to have imposter syndrome, it's like you have this feeling like you want to throw up. I can't explain it, but anytime someone says congratulations to you, or they ask you about your subject or your experience at Oxford, I literally want to vomit, because I start to get that anxiety, that feeling of like, oh my god, I don't belong here, I'm not supposed to be here. Imposter syndrome is just a constant fear of, I'm not good enough, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not good enough, they don't really like me, they haven't really hired me. For me, it's probably because of this, always giving an excuse as to why you've accomplished what you've accomplished. And before coming to Oxford, I didn't really have that problem much, but I think coming here and being surrounded by like people who I think are absolute geniuses, and then there's me who just like just about scraped her B grades and got into Oxford. It's just, oh, it's awful, it's awful. Oh my god, everyone here, you just think in your head, when I first got here I was like, everyone at Oxford is going to be a genius. They're going to be like your typical Harry Potter, read every single book, reads the thesaurus for like breakfast and stuff like that. Like that is what I thought I was coming into. Also, I think something else that adds to imposter syndrome in our society today is the Twitter warriors, the people on Twitter that are constantly telling people that by 25 years old you've got to be a billionaire living alone in the centre of London with 29 cars and blah blah, and it's just like, that's not reality. That is not a reality for everyone. And I think when you're constantly having society tell you those things, you just feel that imposter syndrome all the time, walking around feeling like, I don't know, man, you just feel inadequate. You're just constantly feeling inadequate. That's what imposter syndrome is, constantly feeling inadequate. And then when you do finally achieve something, having an excuse as to why you achieved it and never fully taking credit of your own achievements. That is imposter syndrome, and that is how I feel when I am in Oxford. And I don't think I'll ever really shake that feeling. I shook it for a minute when I got my A-level results back. I kind of started to feel more like I belonged here and stuff, and then I guess that feeling faded. I don't know. And I think inspiration is good. You know, when you see someone on Instagram or YouTube doing well and you find them inspirational and you look up to them, I think that is amazing. But the thing that's dangerous is comparison. When you just constantly compare yourself and you don't acknowledge what you've done because it's not as good as what the other person has done, that is dangerous. That is so dangerous, and it's so real. It's so real. And I think for me, being on YouTube as well has actually heightened that feeling of imposter syndrome, and that's why I haven't really been posting much, is because I just keep thinking, oh my god, like, are my videos even that good? Am I keeping people engaged? Are they even entertained? Like, the point of this video is to say that, like, we need to remember that we're all young people just figuring it out, and we need to stop putting pressure on ourselves, which is difficult because society puts pressure on us, and the more that we post about the great things we've achieved, the more that someone else feels worse about themselves, and then that's why I think it's just a bit of a vicious cycle. But the only way that I can say we can get around imposter syndrome is to be kinder to one another. When we're talking about people's ideas or thoughts or the things that they've accomplished, just be mindful of how you address it and how you say it, because you can put someone off completely by just one comment. Like, you don't know what point someone is at in their self-doubt or in their journey, so just being a bit more cautious about how you speak to your friends when they approach you with their brand new ideas. So I think people need to just be a bit kinder to each other and check up on your friends. Like, especially when you're in university, people are going through so much, and if someone is already feeling imposter syndrome, where if you notice that whenever you compliment your friend, they kind of, not in a humble way, but in a way of they genuinely don't want to take the compliment because they just genuinely don't believe that their work is worthy. Or if you say, oh my god, I love your art, and they're like, no, it's not good, it's only because, try your best to like keep on complimenting them and like make them realize that no, I like your work, it's your work that I like, and really try and help them, because imposter syndrome can honestly stifle creativity. And I think our society has a big role to play in that, and I don't know how we can get better, but I think acknowledging something is always the first step to like healing as a people. So yeah, I might do a story time on that, because whew, child, let me tell you. But yeah, we just all need to be kinder, and imposter syndrome at university is so real, and I think the only way to tackle it is by believing in yourself and believing in your own source, because you got to where you got to with your own achievements, and you deserve everything that you have. And I think in our society we need to start helping people, especially girls as well, to embrace their achievements and not put them down. And like, people do that a lot. Like, if you try to talk about what you do, everyone kind of says, oh my god, what are you, like, that's not how British society and British culture works. But we need to encourage each other more. We definitely do, because man, everyone suffers from it as well. That's something that's comforting, to know that actually everyone goes through this. I hope that this video has helped somebody who also feels like they suffer from the same thing, because I know that imposter syndrome is very real and it's not a unique thing to me or Oxford students. It happens to everybody everywhere, whether it's in a job, workplace, another university, anywhere. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and if you have any suggestions for any videos you want to see coming from me, then please link it down below, and I promise I'm back and I'm not going to leave again. And I love you so much, and bye.